welcome. What if I told you that your desire to be a wife and your desire to have a husband was not even your own desire? It was something that was repetitively programmed, okay? I know that's a big word, but programmed into you. Before we get started though, I do have a candle lit here and I have my matcha, so we're really setting the vibe and setting it, it's like apple spice, and setting the mood right to have this conversation. I do want to say, number one, I'm not here to hate men, okay? No man hating here. If you follow me, you know that I'm not here to, I don't hate anyone, okay? I'm indifferent. Indifference is how you should feel as well. Hate and love, two sides of the same coin, right? So if you hate something, same emotion and frequency as love, it's just a different, not frequency, same emotion as love, right? But it's just a different frequency. It's a different way of expression. But indifference, when you're indifferent, you don't care. It's not going to affect you. When something doesn't affect you, it means you're at peace. So I think it's really truly about indifference and respect to another person, another human being. At least that's how I view it. So I have my little notes here. I've never prepared notes for a YouTube video before, so I'm actually kind of excited to actually have, you know, the full flow. So I was thinking about this whole like high value woman, high value men thing. And if you have been in the self-improvement space, especially with the popular creators that exist right now, it's mainly men, you know, that exist, but there are a lot of women that also talk about high value women and they preach about this kind of stuff. And I followed the space for a while just because I think it's an introduction. It's the transition you make when you're really into self-improvement and you're like investing in your life. You see these people talk about different things like high value men, high value women, this and that, and I was into that and into that concept, and you know, I was shaping my life to be a high value woman. And now I'm more into philosophical things. I'm more into like wisdom and more into just ancestral type of wisdom as well when it comes to like your womb and that kind of stuff when it comes to women as well. So I'm trying to get more into the more depth of it all than just like the surface level high value. And I've noticed like a lot of women, a lot of them, especially younger women, and I see it in women my age, women older than me, you know, teenagers. It's this desire for a boyfriend, in society too, right? Desire for a man, desire for a boyfriend, a husband one day, and you're like, I'm gonna get married because I want a husband one day, okay? And I think it's important to ask yourself, like, why do you desire a husband one day? Why is that your end goal, to be a wife and to be married? You need to ask yourself, and I think you should, you know, from now on, like, was that desire really me? Or was it based off of everything else in society pushing me towards that desire? And that concept is called manufactured consent, which is basically people, society, whatever, pushing you towards a certain desire and feeling, and you think you have free will and you think you're choosing it out of your own free will, but it's actually this underlying push when it comes to marketing. And if you think about fairy tales in that certain way, I grew up with fairy tales and I love fairy tales, and it's all of them except for a couple of them are centered around a woman finding her true love and getting the true love kiss, or finding your Prince Charming. And if you think about it, right, why is this pushed at us young women so much? I mean, obviously we know that these big booming businesses, they thrive because they thrive off of women's insecurities. And the thing is, why do women have insecurities like that in the first place for these businesses to thrive, right? It's all just all this propaganda. You need to really deep dive and think and ask yourself these deeper ended questions and not just go on the surface level of like high value woman and, you know, like I'm gonna get a boyfriend and husband. Like, you need to really think and ask yourself, why do you desire someone to pay your bills? Or like, why do you, if that's your reason? Or like, I was thinking about like, there's some people too that talk about, you know, just getting a man and getting someone who's wealthy and, you know, like, so then they can pay our bills and all of this. But it's like, why do we have that desire to rely on someone else to that extent? Because based on what I know about a man's brain, right? Based on the books that I've read, like Power of the Pussy and He's Just Not That Into You. Those are like two main books that I talk about that you should read as well. In fact, I'll link them. After reading those books, one was written by a woman who talks about relationships and, you know, talks about men and talks about women and all of that. And the other one was written by a man. And basically, He's Just Not That Into You. I've talked about this in the past, and it's basically about a guy talking about, he gets letters from women and he kind of groups them all in similar categories. So he kind of covers everything that women just kind of have a problem with or think about. And it all just ends down to like, he's just not that into you. Like, it all just sums up to that phrase, because if a guy really truly wants you, you'll know he wants you and he'll be there for you. You don't need to second guess or question everything. It's as simple as that. If you're here trying to search, does he like me? If you're here trying to understand, oh, you know, maybe he's shy, maybe he's this, maybe he's, no, he's not. He just doesn't like you. It's so simple, right? And it's like, it's such a simple concept. And I think still people have so much trouble applying that. I mean, even me sometimes, you know, when you're thinking, okay, well, does he like me? Does he not? He doesn't. You don't need to ask that in the first place, right? So it's very interesting how that works. And I want to talk more about manufactured consent. I mean, if you truly think about it, it's like everything that I feel like truly, if you don't think about this, like, it's honestly manufactured consent, meaning, again, it's, you think you have free will, you think you're choosing based off of like, this is, you know, like, I have free will, I get to choose whatever I want. But this Prince Charming, true love of my life, love at first sight, you know, these movies, these books, these shows, everything is pushed, this propaganda is pushed and pushed and pushed towards you to the point where it's literally your reality and you view the world in that way. And it's not a way to view the world at all. And I'm not a cynic either, okay? I just want to, like, I'm not here saying I hate love and, you know, all this. Like, I love love because I know what it means to love, okay? Like, I love my dog, I love my family, I love myself. So I know what it means to love, and I think love is the biggest, like, it's honestly, I don't even know how I can describe love. It's the biggest universal life force or something like that. I feel like that's kind of big, but like, love is so incredibly powerful. I feel like truly it's the reason of existence in general. But I love love, and I think love is great, but I think the structure and the theme and the way it's portrayed in society is so patriarchal. It's so dominated by women just conforming to men, and by women desiring this love in a way where it's outside of yourself. I think that's kind of the moral of my story. It's like, you want this life and you're becoming high value women, you're doing all these things, but who are you doing it for? Okay, you need to ask yourself that. If you're doing it for yourself, amazing. But like, if you're doing it because you one day want to attract a man who's like all this and that, and at the end of the day, he's just a man, he's just a guy, right? So I think it's truly just like, the moral of my story is honestly just question everything. Number one, especially as a woman, because the world is not here curated for you. You are an object in the way of some of these men, in the way you're treated. And I think it's important to be aware of that. It's not like we're out here trying to fight everything. I think it's important to understand you're kind of in the system where you're objectified, you're viewed as like just a pretty girl, you know, you're viewed as this high value woman that some guy wants to wife up. I think it's important to be aware of it and to play along with it and to stay in it, but you know the truth about how society works, how this propaganda is being built, why it's built. And so, yeah, I feel like it's really important for every single woman to just wake up, because I have seen women that settle down so early in life. I mean, my mom is one of them, and God bless my dad, I love my parents, but I truly believe that like at 21, you're a baby, you're a child, you're too young. I don't even know who I am yet at 21. And even if you think, okay, I'm gonna go out on dates, I'm gonna date a guy, I'm gonna get a boyfriend, it's fine, it's whatever. I truly don't think it's whatever. I think we're taking this too like loosely. I think you really need to, when you're young as a woman, you need to focus on your life and be so incredibly selfish with your life. Okay, I'm saying this right at you. Be so incredibly selfish. If there's one thing that I've learned from women much older than me, from mothers, from sisters, from cousins, from books, to everyone, okay, it's to be incredibly selfish as a woman with your life. Because when you're in a relationship, like I do want to be in a relationship one day, but when you're in one, you must meet them halfway. You must meet your partner halfway, okay? You're two units, right? You're two people kind of being a whole. You're working together. So it's important that you know your value, you know your worth, you know how much you love yourself, so that you're not going to compromise on certain things that you shouldn't compromise on, and you know what those things are, right? You might think, okay, well, you'll know what those things that you're not going to compromise on, because you don't compromise on yourself when you're alone, okay? So I think this whole propaganda, these whole ideologies and stuff that were formed, it's like the girl boss, the hustle movement, the high value woman movement. It's all kind of a facade. It's all an illusion. It's all this narrative that's to honestly, at the end of the day, keep women submissive. And I've seen men, that the way they talk, some of these high value men, some of these men that you might look up to, or you might think, oh, great role models, right? You might respect, like I respect them, but I think the way they still talk about women, it's still like, I want a wife, I want a family, she's going to do this, she's going to be loyal, she's going to be that. And it's still objectifying women, okay? So I think it's as women, it's not like we're hating men. It's not like we're going to fight the entire system, because it's built on capitalism, and we must, like, it's important to be in the system to beat the system, if you know what I mean. It's important to be aware. It's important, you're an individual. You get to make your own choices, I hope, okay? Especially in a Western country. You get to choose what you're going to do with your life. I hope you have that choice. And as a woman, question the systems, question why things are being pushed at us, question things, and stay sharp and stay alert and stay curious and continue reading. And don't just go with the flow and do what everyone else is doing, like, oh, they all have boyfriends, let me get a boyfriend. Fun. No, it's important for you to please, honestly, be so incredibly selfish and invest in yourself. All I do truly right now, I'm 21, all I do is invest in myself. I'm investing in my career, I'm investing in my health, I go to the gym. And I'm not saying this to like flex or anything, I'm just saying, like, I'm investing in myself, because the wisdom that I've learned from women older than me, the wisdom that I've learned from books, the wisdom that I've learned from so many people, and I love wisdom so much. So it's something that I truly treasure, and I think it's a little gift that I'm able to treasure things like this. I'm going to apply so deeply in my life and be so incredibly selfish for as long as I can, until I'm financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, able to take care of myself and live my best life. And that's when I'm going to allow, like, if I'm set in my life and I'm covered in all areas and all facets of my life, and I'm the wealthiest, hottest, best, amazing, everything version of myself, that's when I'm like, okay, how can I make my life better? Well, if I can have another partner who can make my life better and I can make their life better, great, we're in harmony, right? So it's important for young women, no matter what propaganda, TV shows, movies, songs, music videos, whatever's pushed at you, to please remember a lot of it is manufactured consent, because it's beneficial. It's only beneficial in this patriarchal world for you as a woman to stay and be submissive, for you as a woman to drop your career and drop your everything to go raise your family with your kids. You need to really think about what it means to have children, what it means to get married, what it means to allow any man to enter your body or to be around you in your premises. You need to understand this and have that discernment and have that clarity in your life. And if no one's taught you this, like, this is something I had to uncover on my own. God bless my mom, though. She's helped me through so much and she's given me so much wisdom. But I'm learning so much as I'm growing, and I feel like these things of this sort, it's not about, again, it's not about hating. I hope that I made that extremely clear with you. It's not about hating men. It's about being indifferent. It's about literally respecting them as human beings, and that's it, right? I'm not going to slaughter all guys' names and be like, hey, guys are this and that. Like, it's about respecting them for who they are, but it's about you as a woman understanding we live in a patriarchal world that is male dominated, okay? And so you must be alert and aware of all this propaganda and stay and practice discernment and question everything and chase after your goals, your dreams, never compromising on your goals and your dreams, and being ruthlessly selfish and putting yourself first always until you get to a point where you have accomplished whatever it is that your heart desires, whether that's wealth, career, whatever aspirations you have. Everyone has their own. Yours and mine are going to be different. And you accomplish those things and you feel great, and then whatever you want to do with your life you do next. And that's kind of, I'm gonna take a sip. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I think it's still not talked about enough. I'm someone who really craves depth, and I love deeper ended things and questions. I mean, like, I remember in middle school I'd ask my friends, like, let's discuss the meaning of life, you know? So I just really love depth and topics like this when it comes to young women specifically. Times have changed, you know, like whatever our mothers or cousins even have gone through, it's very different from what we're going through right now. And because everything is so open and accessible to women, I think it's important to understand like where you're headed, what's this external force that may be guiding you, what kind of pressures are you facing, what kind of propaganda is being shared, where should you put your efforts into, what kind of person do you wish to become, following your goals. I think the most important thing honestly is to be financially well off, like get sexy and get wealthy. Two things, and become really well knowledge and educated, not just in the education system, but like self-education. I'll make a separate video on this actually, because I'm self-educating myself so much, because there's so much stuff that's not taught in schools, and that won't be for a reason. So self-education, and this education is like my favorite thing. It's just of the woman, of the feminine. And I love reading books. I'm trying to read Women Who Run with the Wolves. I believe that's the name. I was trying to get into it, but I found it a little difficult to read, but I'm trying to get into that book. And honestly, if you're going to take any advice, listen to women older than you, a lot older than you, and listen to their wisdom. I think that's the best advice one can ever get. And all of them say, don't marry young. So for a reason, right? Like I truly think you need to be so selfish, and you have the resources nowadays. It's the easiest to be selfish as women than it ever was. And being selfish doesn't mean you're like above anyone or anything. It just means you're literally just like locked in with yourself like this, right? And you're like doing everything for yourself. You're taking care of yourself, you're eating healthy, you're working out, you're meditating, you're doing all of these things because you love yourself, and it's an act and a form of self-love. And I know I went on a lot of tangents here, and I don't know if I actually followed my notes. What else? Yeah, I think moral of the story, I don't know if I followed exactly everything to a T, but I think it's more fun when not fun, but more interesting when I just talk about random things. But I think the moral to my story is I believe through the meditations and stuff that I'm doing, you have so many more answers than you think you do. You don't need to look outside of yourself for answers. That's why meditation is so important, because it allows you to be present, which is really, really important, because this is the only moment that ever exists, right? The future doesn't, the past doesn't. And it also allows you to practice more discernment and to ask questions that you already know the answers to, right? So yeah, I just think that too many young women are getting involved in certain relationships or certain things and practices with men. It's harming women more than we might think. And since I value depth so much, I just wanted to share my view and my take on this. And you can do whatever you want with this information. You can just be like, oh, she's saying random stuff, whatever. Or you could say, okay, well, maybe she's onto something. And my biggest thing is, like, I don't want you to take everything I say and just like take it to heart. This is my interpretation, my view, my take on the world and on society and everything, right? So I want you to take this information in, and then I want you to question it, and I want you to do a deep dive and figure things out for yourself. Go read things for yourself. Read books like Women Who Run with the Wolves. The 2 books that I talked about, I'm going to mention them, link them below. And to just ask these questions yourself. Like, I never searched up a how-to. I had these questions in my head and I was curious, and I started doing more research on it, and then I got to this point. Now I'm sharing this, and I'm sharing my insights. Now I want you to do the same thing I did and to do your research on it and your ended things on it. And if any of this resonates with you, I want you to dive deeper into it. Like, I want you to figure out yourself what everything means to you, and just go for depth. Ask the whys. Why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Why is that? Especially as a woman, why is this? Why is that? Because the more you ask, the more curious you become, the more knowledge you gain, right? And you're not going to have these you're not going to have this like tunnel vision, or like you're not just going to look at one perspective. You're going to look at multiple perspectives, and you're going to gain more insight, more knowledge, and more wisdom at the end of the day. More wisdom. So this was a lovely talk, as always. I hope that there were some things that you could take away from this video. And my next one is going to be on self-education, because I truly believe that's the best way to continuously grow and learn as a human being, and also stay alert, sharp, and I consider myself a lifelong student, just because there's so much to learn, and I kind of want to be like a jack of all trades and not really master anything, but have my hands on a sufficient level of everything, because I don't know, I just find that to be something I enjoy doing. So next video is on that, and I have great things actually, so stay tuned because there's a lot I'm learning. But that's all for this one. Thank you, and obviously practice the things, practice discernment, question things, and be selfish as a woman. Love you.